Hey guys, so today I want to talk about my health journey, starting from when I was a wee one all the way up until today. I'm going to be talking about like acne and hormones and stomach issues and things like that. So I'm going to try to kind of condense this as much as possible, but it's probably going to be a little bit of a longer video, so, and a talkative one at that. So sit down, grab yourself a nice drink, and let's get going. So, I want to talk about kind of how everything is all connected in the body. So, when you are having issues in one area of your body, most likely other things are going to follow, or you're going to have issues in another area that you're going to see connect and things like that. So, for me, I really believe that if you're taking care of your whole body, for me, I feel like you can't neglect one area of your body. It's really important to be mindful. For me, I think it's really important to understand that issues can come from places that you may not even think that they're coming from. So that is a little preface to what I'm going to be talking about today. And yeah, so I'm going to start when I was in 8th grade. So I had pretty bad acne all on my forehead, on my nose, things like that, and kind of in my T-zone. And I just had so much texture on my forehead, and it really embarrassed me. And so I went to a dermatologist for the first time. And I loved to pick. Picking was like my big thing. So I ended up going on, I tried a whole bunch of different things before I went on birth control. I think I actually went to a dermatologist before 8th grade, like 6th grade, something like that. And I was never able to figure it out. I tried like all of like the like normal lines, like I don't know, like the pro, like the, like, you know, like the ones that you used to see on TV and stuff like that. Proactive, there we go, and like stuff like that. Like I tried so many different things and nothing worked because they're terrible for your skin. And I ended up going on birth control in 8th grade. It really helped my acne. It pretty much cleared everything up. And then a few years down the line, I started having stomach issues, and these stomach issues were related to me having celiac and colitis, and I didn't figure that out for another 2 years. So I was 14 when I started having issues, and then I was 16 when I found out that I had celiac and colitis. And celiac and colitis affect your small and big intestines. Celiac affects your small intestine, and it is affected when you eat gluten. So it pretty much means you're a little bit like allergic to gluten, or intolerant to gluten. And when you do eat gluten, it makes it so your small intestine can't absorb any nutrients. So that is a pretty big deal. So everything pretty much kind of goes right through. So for those 2 years that I was trying to figure out what was going on, I was having a lot of tests, allergy tests. I was doing a lot of diets, like no sugar, no dairy, a few different things like that. And I just, nothing was really helping me. And once I was 16, my dad actually has some stomach issues, so I went to see his gastro person, and they ended up having me do a colonoscopy and an endoscopy. They actually ended up having me do a colonoscopy and an endoscopy. So that is when they put a camera up your bum and down your throat and see what's going on in both your lower and upper intestines. And that's how they figured out that I have celiac and colitis. So from that point on, it took me about 6 months to a year to stop eating gluten, because I loved bread and pasta and things like that. And it probably took about that long for me to stop having symptoms. I was taking prednisone, not prednisone. I was also taking another steroid or something like that on top of that to calm down the inflammation in my stomach and to help me get to remission. So in the 2 years that I was having issues, that's called a flare. So when you are having a flare, that pretty much just means you're having issues. And when you are in remission, that means you're not having issues, and you can kind of go about your normal days. But for me, since I have celiac, that means no gluten ever, but other than that, your normal days. So I figured that out, and I stopped having really bad stomach issues. I started working out because it's really important for us people that have celiac and colitis to work out, because it helps manage stress and it helps do so many other things that are really beneficial. And celiac and colitis also can be triggered by stress, and to make sure that, and it can also help like regulate eating, and it can make you more hungry and regulate eating, but also can like help regulate your stomach and things like that. So there's a lot of really good benefits that come out of working out for people, especially that have colitis. So I was really heavily working out when I was like a senior in high school, and then when I went off to college, I was every once in a while working out, but not an extreme amount. And 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 around that time when I was working out, I'm pretty sure was like around my senior year, and also around my senior year was when I decided to switch my birth control. So I was taking the same birth control since 8th grade, like I said before, and it just really stopped working for me. I started having my period like a week after I was starting my new kind of pack, and I would be having my period on my sugar pills, and there was a few other things going on, and it just really wasn't working for me anymore. So I decided to get an IUD in my senior year, and I went with the Skyla, which is a little bit of a lower hormone dosage. So I went with the Skyla, and with the Skyla, you're supposed to spot for about 3 to 6 months, and I was spotting for about a year and a half, the whole time that I had it in. For Skyla, you can have it in 3 years, but I only had it in, like I said, a year and a half. And I had that in when I was going to college, and I'm pretty sure when I was taking the Skyla, I was also taking prednisone on top of that to help with acne and help my hormones level out. So I really wasn't having that many issues with my acne at that point. And when I started college, I was spotting all the time, and I was also, so when I started college, I was drinking all the time. I pretty much just lived a normal life. Obviously, I wasn't having gluten, but I really wasn't affected by my celiac or colitis. Every once in a while after I was diagnosed, I would have like flares here and there, but that would be about for like a week, so I really wouldn't even call it a flare. I would just take some like steroids or whatever for a few days, and then I would be fine. So I really wasn't having that many issues, which was really lucky, because drinking and stuff like that can be a big kind of trigger for some people with celiac and colitis. I was really not having that many stomach issues throughout college, but I was spotting up until I got my Mirena in college. I decided to take out my Skyla in October, and then the same day put in a Mirena, which is another IUD, but it's a little bit of a higher dosage. And on top of the Mirena, I decided to take birth control, so I wouldn't spot for those first 3 to 6 months that you're supposed to spot when you have a new IUD in. And it's not it's not the best idea. Consult with your doctors always. I'm not a doctor. But yeah, so at least when I was on the birth control and the Mirena, I wasn't having any acne. My skin looked great, and I wasn't having stomach issues, but I think because of that, my pH was off and everything else, so I was having some issues down there, a little bit of itching and things like that, but I got checked out, and no STDs or anything like that. She was just pretty much like, change your soap or whatever. So after I got out of college, I started going to see my regular gynecologist again, and I continued to have some of those issues even after I stopped with the extra birth control, and I started having hormonal acne after I started doing that extra birth control. So I was dealing with that, and I was going to esthetician school at the time after college. And during esthetician school, I was just doing esthetician school. I really didn't have many issues either. And once I started my own business is pretty much when I started having stomach issues again. So stress is a huge thing. I don't know if I said that earlier, for a trigger for celiac and colitis. So when I started my business, I was really stressed. I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing really anything to help manage that stress. And I really just started having stomach issues, and the steroids that I had been taking really weren't working anymore. And when I called my doctor that I had been seeing since I was 16 to get in to see him, I couldn't get in to see him for about 3 months. So I was really just having a lot of issues in that time, and then I lost about 15 to 25 pounds before I could get in to see him. So I started my business in May, so that's kind of when I started having issues, and that was May of 2017. And and then in October of 2017 is when I was finally able to see my doctor. So it took a really long time, and then he put me on steroids right away. He put me on prednisone, and I was on prednisone for a few weeks, and then I went in to get another colonoscopy to see what was going on, and then they just said, yep, obviously you're in a flare, and then they had me stay on prednisone for another year. So the few weeks that I was on prednisone before I had my colonoscopy, it kind of helped a little bit, and then once I was and then after I had my colonoscopy, for whatever reason, the prednisone stopped really helping. So I was taking prednisone for about a year with really no results. And again, not a doctor, but that's something to me you should not be doing. If something's not working, try something else. Like, I know sometimes something takes a decent amount of time to like work and get in your system, but for me, it should not take a year, and it should be switched out. So for me, I'd been working with my doctor for such a long time, and they were great. I really trusted them, but at the same time, I wanted to go for a more natural route, since I had been pretty much kicking my body with all those steroids for such a long time. So I found a naturopath, and I had 6 sessions with her. It wasn't covered by insurance, which really sucked. I didn't really have the best luck with her. I didn't figure out too much. We had done a lot of tests. We did figure out a lot of stuff that wasn't going on with me. We tested to see if I had like bacteria overgrowth and a few different things, which I did have some bacteria overgrowth. But yeah, so there was a lot of different tests that we did, and then a lot of different diets, and we tried a lot of different like supplements and things like that. And she also, one really good thing that she did do for me was introduce me to low dose naltrexone, or just naltrexone I might refer it to. But that was like originally a drug for like people to help like wean off like addiction or something. I'm not entirely sure, but it has been proven to show to help people with stomach issues. So she got me on that, and I was taking pills of that, and it was really hard on my stomach. I get nauseous really easily, and my stomach really just couldn't handle it. So I was supposed to take about like 4 milligrams or something like that, and I could only take like 2-ish, and I had to work my way up in half milligrams. So after about like a year and a half of working with her, I actually found a nutritionist, and we started going over like diet and budgeting and other things like that. And she really changed the game for me. She introduced me to a lot of different people. I had been looking for a therapist for a really long time with no luck, and she introduced me to a really great therapist, and she really helped get me motivated and have a really good schedule for like working out. And she also helped me find a new naturopath that I could go see that was covered by insurance, and I could see whenever the heck I wanted. So that really changed a lot for me. So Catherine, if you're watching this, thank you. You are a godsend. She is pretty much the sweetest person, and she was pretty much like a second therapist to me. I just like, I really can't thank her enough. She changed how, she just really changed everything for me. I was having issues for about 3 solid years from once I started my business all the way up until pretty much 6 months ago. I was in a really, really big flare, and me and Catherine went through so many different things. It did take us quite some time to figure out the best thing, but she stuck through it the whole entire time and helped me figure out like just more healthy habits to continue in my daily life, and kind of like triggers and things like that. And she found so many books and so many resources to help guide me in the right direction. She never pushed me in a direction to say like you need to do this or you need to do that, but helped me in directions where I had the ability to figure out good knowledge for myself and what would work for my body. So when I kept seeing my naturopath, I saw her for a few appointments and I wasn't really getting that much out of it. She did switch the low dose naltrexone that I was doing in pills to a topical form, and I just do that behind my knees, and I don't get sick at all from that, and I'm able to do the correct dosage. So that was awesome. That was like the first really great thing that she did for me. And from there, it took a few more, like a month or a few more weeks, I would say like 1 to 2 months, for us to really figure out what was going on. I had stumped her. She is a naturopath, so she doesn't really do steroids all that often, but she decided to prescribe me budesonide. At first, she prescribed me 3 milligrams just to be on the safe side, and nothing really worked. So I was kind of discouraged, and she was kind of discouraged, and then she just said, give me a few days, let's figure this out. And then she came back and said, let's just do a higher dosage, 9 milligrams. So that's what I did, and it ended up working. And so I did that in conjunction with the LDN, or low dose naltrexone, and I did other things that I was a little bit low and deficient in, like a B12 and D3, the normal stuff. But yeah, so I was doing that, and once I started that 9 milligrams, I pretty much instantly felt better. My stomach was better. I was having normal movements, and I stuck on the 9 milligrams for, I would say, a couple months. And then I started to wean off. So I did 6 milligrams after that, and then I did 3 milligrams after that. And then COVID hit. At that point, I was on 3 milligrams, and I was gonna try to wean off at some point, but with the whole COVID pandemic, and when you do take steroids, you are more susceptible to getting things, and more at risk. So I decided to see how my stomach would do without any steroids, and I'm just doing the LDN right now, and then seeing how my stomach does. And I would say I've been off of the steroids for like 2-3 months, since like I would say mid-March, which is when I've been like pretty much stay-at-home order. And my stomach was doing really good for the first few months. I felt like I was in remission. I almost forgot that I had stomach issues and that I was eating a certain way. I obviously don't eat gluten. I haven't said that throughout this time, but I also don't eat dairy because of my stomach, and I try to stay away from a lot of really like processed food and sugars and stuff like that. And I was already eating really healthy before this, but sometimes I just like I took out dairy and chocolates and stuff like that, and now I eat like healthy chocolates and stuff, and I've found some stuff that I really enjoy, which is hard for me because I'm picky and I love milk chocolate. I don't like dark chocolate. But there's some stuff that I do allow myself to eat, but it's more of like just like the healthy chocolates and stuff. But yeah, so right now, I'm still having issues with certain things. I am still having some stomach issues. I was doing good for, I would say, most of the quarantine, but right now my stomach has pretty much gone back to zero. It's not doing great. I feel like pretty much in a full flare again, but I'm on my period right now. So I'm hoping that is part of the reason that it's so bad. But in a few days, if I am not back to normal, I will start back on budesonide, or not budesonide, low dose naltrexone. Yeah. Wait, I'm so stupid. Yeah, budesonide. I will restart on budesonide. And to be honest, it does kind of scare me to be back on that when this COVID-19 is still going and in full effect. And especially if I'm going to start going back to work. It's a little stressful. I'm sure it's stressful for people that are high risk and have to work right now and are essential workers. Yeah, I feel really fortunate to not have to be at work right now, and lucky that I'm getting unemployment and things like that. Like, I am in a very privileged spot right now, and that's something that I am fully aware of. And yeah, I'm very lucky that I can put my health first. So that's something that I really recognize. But in saying that, right now I do put my health first. So in the last few months, I have started working out again, which has been really great to just feel like I'm getting my body moving and all of that. I have some back issues and some knots in my back, so to make sure like my core and everything is really strong to be able to hold myself up kind of really helps with those back issues. So I've been really trying to get some exercise in. That also helps with stress and anxiety. So that has really been helping, I think, with my stomach as well, and keeping it good for as long as it was good. And I feel like since I am still getting active, it's really helping to kind of continue helping it stay okay. I'm hoping after my period it will kind of come back to life or remission, and I think that it will, but I don't know. I don't know, it's very up and down, so we'll see. But the reason I wanted to tell you guys about my health journey is because I want to start taking you guys on my health journey with me. I think it's really important to understand that everybody has things that they struggle with, and yeah, so since I was in such a big flare at the beginning of this, So at the time that I was getting my colonoscopy I had already lost about 15 to 25 pounds. And so so one of my main goals was to obviously gain that weight back throughout getting better. So like I said, I had lost about 15 to 25 pounds at the beginning of my flare when I opened my business. And when I had that, it was obviously not safe for me to work out. So I had that taken away from me, and I wasn't able to do that for such a long time. And I really wasn't able to gain any of that weight back until I was able to absorb nutrients, and that didn't happen until 6-ish months ago when I started taking that budesonide and I was able to have normal movements. So I was really not able to do so much that I was wanting to do. And I think that was also really impacting my stomach and my stress levels and my acne, because acne, again, is all included. Like, if your stomach's not doing well, it's going to show in your skin and your acne. And if you're stressed, it's going to show in your skin and your acne. And if I'm stressed, it's going to make me flare a little bit, and I'm more likely to have stomach issues. So for me, everything is so interconnected. And I want to start talking about that more on my channel, because it is really important. And I'm not saying everybody has stomach issues. That's not what I'm saying at all. But other things than what you put on your skin can really affect your skin, and other treatments like that. So I kind of want to bring you guys on that journey with me, and on this health journey, because working out and fitness and nutrition and all of that included is so important in my optimal overall health, and helps benefit my skin. And yeah. Anyways, I feel like that was so rambly, and yeah, but I hope that made sense to you guys. I just felt like it was important to kind of start a video talking about my health journey, and then we can kind of go from here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please like it, give it a thumbs up. And if you guys want to continue seeing my face, please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you in this little community that I'm trying to grow. Everybody's welcome here. It is a very accepting space. We are all about quality, and if you are not, then maybe not the space for you. So yeah, I hope to see you guys soon, and thanks for watching. All right, bye guys.